What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another review on the channel. And today we are finally talking about John Wick Chapter 4. Now, I'm sorry this video is late. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly what happened, but the power has been out at my house for the last 24 hours, which has been a huge problem with me trying to make videos and work on other work that I'm doing. So finally the power is back on. We are finally recording the video, so I'm hoping to have this up by tonight, Saturday night. But let's get into talking about John Wick Chapter 4. Now, let me start off by saying that I usually don't really listen to the early hype around movies. I find there's so much, I guess, pandering in a way from the early release crowd, which I can totally understand, and I understand why people would say what they do. So I always listen to that stuff and take it with a grain of salt. But my God, I was not prepared for how insanely awesome and incredible this whole film was gonna be. That's right, I am not gonna play any games with this review. This is one of the greatest action films I have ever seen in my lifetime. It is my favorite film by far of 2023 so far, and even before I start talking about plot points, I recommend you guys go check this out right now as soon as possible. It needs to be seen theatrically in a theater to get that full appreciation. Go check this out. But my history with the John Wick franchise, I have absolutely loved every single film that has the name John Wick attached to it. I think all of them are almost equally great. There are ones that I prefer over the others, but this whole franchise is one of the most consistently awesome and well put together franchises I've ever seen. So getting into John Wick 4, I don't even know where to begin with this film. It is amazing. Let's start by talking a little bit about the story. I'm gonna keep this spoiler free, but essentially, this whole film is following John Wick and the consequences of his actions that he commits at the beginning of the film. So right off the bat, you get a strong sense that this John Wick movie is gonna have a pretty big story. It's still very simple, and John Wick has never been extremely interested in telling the greatest or most innovative stories around. They're all very simple, but it definitely works for that action that they are trying to go for. They don't really sideline the story, but it's just never been a huge part of what you come to this film for. With that being said, the story of John Wick Chapter 4, in my opinion, is probably the richest that we've ever had out of this franchise before. Like I said, you have very clear character dynamics, you have very clear character decisions, and you understand why John Wick is facing the repercussions for his actions. You understand why all these other characters that come into the mix will have issues and turmoils with our main characters. You understand everything that is happening. Everything is clear, consistent, very concise, and well organized. Love the story in this film. And a big part of that is surrounded by Bill Skarsgård, our main villain, who is totally awesome in this role. As far as like physical and physicality wise, he does not really fight or have that much to do, but he is kind of that ominous presence in the background, moving pieces on the chalkboard and sending people to kill and try to assassinate John Wick, but we all know how that's gonna go. Bill Skarsgård continues to build himself up as one of the best actors. Like he is a really good character actor. He constantly proves that he can do more than just creepy faces in Pennywise, you know, like this guy can act, and I love it. We also get the new introduction of the Mr. Nobody character. He is kind of a tracker that is paid to follow John Wick around, and they have some really nice interactions. It's kind of cool seeing Keanu Reeves gets to be human every once in a while, which I do enjoy seeing. I'll get to that later, but Mr. Nobody character, he has a dog. Awesome character. I would love to see a spin-off movie or series with this character. I think that is probably in their future, but yeah, I would love to see this guy back. You also have the callback characters of Winston and Lance Reddick's character. Rest in peace. Dude was taken far too soon, but he gave us a lot of awesome roles in film and video games, so rest in peace, man. You will be missed. It's great to see them back. Winston, of course, proves that he can kind of just, he could just talk it up. Like, Ian McShane really, like, chews up the scenery and steals the show whenever he is in a scene, you know? He's kind of this, like, older, suave guy who, again, physicality-wise doesn't bring much, but he's always kind of like that really fucking cool, like, grandpa that's always, got John Wick's back, and I like that dynamic a lot. They continue it here, and it's really awesome to see. Now, let's talk about what everybody is expecting me to talk about, which is the action in this film. And my god, the amount of action sequences in this film is absolutely jaw-dropping ridiculous, and there's so much to unpack. A lot of these sequences are extremely vast and sprawling. I mean, literally about 3 of them go on for more than 45 minutes. They are long, extensive, and the choreography never once misses a beat. Like, I swear, dude, this is one of the craziest films I have ever seen, and I would not be surprised if this becomes the new gold standard for action films. Like, you have John Carpenter's The Thing as the gold standard for practical effects in horror, and now you have John Wick Chapter 4 as the gold standard for how to do action. There's one sequence towards the end of this film where the camera takes kind of a top-down approach, almost like it's a video game, but it is so continuous and just well put together that it literally had me questioning how the fuck were they able to achieve this. This is absolutely insane, and I am fucking here for it all day. You have so many different ways that they decide to dispatch people in this movie. I mean, dudes are getting killed left and right, and anything you could think of that could be used as a weapon is probably used in this movie. I mean, you have hand-to-hand combat, you have a ton of gunplay, you have knife play, I mean, you have axes, you have everything that you could possibly think of. A bunch of car chases and crazy stunts with cars. Awesome shit all around. I mean, this is, I'm gonna sound like a broken record saying this, but this is really, really something special, made for the theatrical experience, and that's definitely how you should experience it. The film also kind of adopts this samurai Japanese style towards the beginning, which I absolutely love. I mean, the initial action sequence to this film is beautiful, and it just continuously heightens the farther you get into the film. I thought they couldn't outdo themselves from John Wick Chapter 3, and they proved me wrong. My god. The only thing that I wish we got a little bit more of is Keanu Reeves and his acting abilities. I know he has this reputation for not being, he has such a presence on screen while not being the greatest actor, at least that's his reputation. I personally kind of disagree with that. I think there's tons of films that he does great in, but I really wish we got to see him talk a little bit more. I mean, you got that whole, yeah, thing going throughout this whole film, and I think that's awesome, but I would have liked to see him talk and just act a little bit more human, like I said at the beginning of this video, but still just a nitpick. The other thing I will say is, as much as the choreography is awesome, and it does ask you to suspend some disbelief, which I can totally do considering this is a John Wick action movie, but I could also see a lot of people walking into this being like, dude, just shoot him right now, and technically they would not be wrong for that. I mean, it's kind of transferred over from how much damage he could take in John Wick 3. That's kind of where my suspension of disbelief started to, you know, diminish a little bit, and it's about on par here, but again, like I said, I can totally overlook that for how amazing and awesome this film is. I'm gonna switch this over to the 1 to 5 rating system, because as much as I do like the letter grading system, I just don't feel like there's enough space and room to really formulate what I would actually give it within a letter grade. So 1 to 5, this is an easy 5 out of 5. All the negatives that I do have with this film are just nitpicks and, you know, small things here and there, but I can totally overlook all of that for what this film gave us. And this is this is possibly the best in the franchise. That is a very solid argument, and I think you're going to see most people place John Wick Chapter 4 as their top out of the 4 films that we have right now. Alright, that is it for the John Wick Chapter 4 review. A little bit more of a short one, but I really want you guys to go experience this theatrically. That is the best way to see this film. Largest screen, loudest theater you can find. Go check this out. You will not regret it, especially if you are an action or John Wick fan already. Look forward to the John Wick ranking. We are going to rank all 4 John Wick films. I'm going to try to have that up tomorrow, which is going to be Sunday, so look forward to that. It's going to be awesome. I think you guys will agree with my ranking, but we'll see. But that is all for now. Make sure to like, subscribe if you are a fan of horror, movies in general, or just all that entertainment stuff in between. Like, subscribe, follow, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy. See ya.